Are you thinking about taking medical school mock interviews and wondering why they're a must? Doing sample questions or reading blogs on interview prep is important, but nothing will prepare you like a mock interview will. And by enlisting expert help, it can give you an edge to impress the admissions committee for that acceptance letter. So in this video, I'll talk about why mock interviews are a must, tips on how to enhance your mock interview prep, and why getting personalized feedback is the only way to improve towards getting accepted into medical school. Hi, I'm Natalie Stoberman and I'm an admissions associate here at BeMo. Before we get started, subscribe on whatever social media channel that you're watching this on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And if you'd like us to help you with your med school interview, visit BeMoMedInterview.com to schedule your free initial consultation. And FYI, check out the timestamps and the description of this video so you can navigate to specific sections that you're interested in. Here's what we're going to cover. Why should I prepare with a professional? What exactly a med school advisor will teach, MMI Mock Interviews, video interviews, and Snapshot by Altus suite. And we're giving away $50 Amazon gift cards every week to the best comments and questions. So comment below for your chance to win. And we also have some important advice on how to prepare for med school interviews. And I'll talk about that throughout the video, so make sure that you watch the whole thing so you don't miss anything. So let's get started. First things first, why should I prepare with a professional? Practice questions are certainly a good start, but the most valuable practice is to go through real-life mock interviews. Mock interviews provide the closest experience that you can get to the actual interview and are therefore the best at bringing out the real emotions and triggers that you'll feel during a medical school interview. The pressure is on, and it's normal for many students to experience stress, anxiety, fear, and uncertainty during their interview prep and on the day of the interview. The goal is to get these emotions under control through preparation, as well as by familiarizing yourself with the format and getting personalized feedback on what to work on. A lot of the fear and anxiety that students experience during an interview comes from the unknown, not knowing what to expect, not knowing what questions they'll be asked, and not knowing if they'll perform well. Mock interviews with expert feedback can reduce or eliminate these fears and unknowns. Excellent, realistic mock interviews with personalized feedback from a medical school advisor will let you know exactly how you come across and give you insight into the strength and quality of your responses. This feedback can help identify weaknesses, help you structure your answers, and most importantly, provide you with an adaptable strategy for nearly any type of question. This kind of adaptability is key. It's not about memorizing tons of answers or trying to guess exactly which questions that you'll be asked. It's about mastering a flexible technique to calmly and confidently answer any type of question that's thrown at you. Confidence can be developed, and the right kind of medical school interview prep can significantly accelerate this development. And then there's no doubting that the right medical school interview prep can really make the difference between acceptance and rejection. The right interview prep will help you avoid wasting time on areas of study or research that don't require a lot of your time. So by inefficiently spending time on the least important areas, students are often left with a false sense of preparedness. And this is where a medical school advisor or consultant steps in to analyze the areas that need the most improvement, or giving a student more direction for the most efficient interview prep, especially when a school may only send out an invitation with a week or two of notice. Practicing on your own is most helpful when there is that expert feedback, because it's almost impossible to learn your weaknesses or figure out where you need to improve without someone else pointing out those areas to you. You might think that you've prepared a great answer and delivery for an interview question, when really that response may be flawed and doesn't highlight your best self. Unfortunately, relying on friends and family as your dominant mode of preparation isn't helpful to highlighting your best self either. Unless they're in the field of medicine or have first-hand experience going through medical school interviews, their closeness to you can prevent them from giving you unbiased feedback. And your family and friends may be afraid to hurt your feelings by pointing out your flaws, so they're likely to sugarcoat their critiques, which also isn't constructive at all. So by enlisting the help of a medical school advisor, you're investing your future with someone who's gone through extensive training, has in-depth knowledge and countless experiences with interview questions about what the admissions committee is looking for, and how to answer questions that will highlight your skills, passions, and experiences. A professional advisor doesn't know you personally, so they're able to provide you with objective, unbiased feedback. And a good advisor will be an expert in the medical school admissions process. They'll possess tremendous experience working with students, and they should boast a reliable, evidence-based success rate for helping students get accepted into medical school. You're probably wondering what exactly a med school advisor will teach. And the short answer is everything. An excellent professional advisor will be able to help you with all aspects of your medical school interview prep. For example, if you're asked in your interview, why do you want to be a doctor? And your answer is simply because you want to help people and make a difference, that would be considered a wrong answer because it lacks reflection, depth, passion, and proof. And even worse, it could sound cliché. A professional advisor will work one-on-one with you to help expand your answers, highlight your strengths, and strengthen your weaknesses, and also help you strategize your responses. And they ultimately know what questions to expect during your interview, so they'll help you prepare accordingly. Let's be clear, there's no way to know exactly which questions that you can expect to be asked in your interview, which is why unprepared students are often caught off guard when they're asked a question that they didn't predict. They'll draw a blank or stumble through an answer that likely lacks the qualities that an AdComs is looking for. But with a professional medical school advisor, the most important thing that you will learn is a technique to address and answer any type of question, regardless of how strange or unusual it may seem. Here at BeMo, we teach our students how to identify and strategize for over 20 different types of questions. And other than practicing and learning how to respond appropriately to any type of interview scenario, a professional advisor will teach you techniques for having a calm mindset through your prep and on your interview day, how to interact with the interviewees, and even give you tips for appropriate medical school interview attire. But most importantly, we also teach our students specific short-term versus long-term stress management techniques. There's nothing worse than a lack of confidence during the most important interview of your life. And it's totally normal for most students to be nervous, have a shaky voice, and not being able to think on the spot because they don't know how to manage their stress levels. Preparing with a professional for either one or multiple types of interview styles can ease the stress because they can advise you on any interview style that your intended school may be using. Whether it's a panel, traditional, or conversational med school interview, a group interview, or an MMI, your advisor will provide you with the absolute necessary mock interviews and personalized feedback, along with helpful sample questions and techniques for answering any type of interview question appropriately. So let's dig a little deeper in how to prepare for different mock interviews. Let's start with the MMI. The multiple mini interview is sometimes compared with speed dating, since test takers address a prompt or question at a station, and when a buzzer rings, they have to move to the next station. Of course, the MMI is much more complex than speed dating, which is why practicing full-length mock MMIs and practicing with sample questions is one of the best ways to prepare. That's how we help our students who usually get accepted to multiple schools after working with our MMI experts as part of our MMI prep programs. In fact, on average, our students improve their MMI scores by 27% after 8 to 10 weeks of practice. Some require more time, some require less time, but that's because the MMI isn't about numbers and science. The MMI measures your behaviors, and everyone has different life experience that will influence their behavior, which makes getting expert help critical in successful MMI prep. Students who don't prepare properly for the MMI end up underestimating the stress involved with this interview. And the MMI is a fast-paced and timed interview, so if nerves get in the way of delivering a clear answer, then your scores will be negatively impacted. Other than stress, students who don't prepare with a combination of mock MMIs, sample questions, and expert help have a hard time mastering the pacing required for their responses. Like I said, answers are timed for the MMI, And if you exceed the maximum time allowed, then you will be cut off and you'll have to move on to the next station without having had the chance to fully express or finish what you were trying to say. In fact, in our MMI prep programs, we spend lots of time making sure our students can deliver a coherent response concisely by helping them get used to having a limited amount of time to give their response. The bottom line is, with the timing factor alone, it will be very evident to the interviewers if you did not prepare. And in AdComs, we'll pick apart a candidate's discussions that are missing evidence or in-depth consideration and knowledge, which is why preparing for the MMI without expert help usually ends in disappointment. Moving on to video interviews, they're exactly how it sounds. Regardless of your interview type, your assessors will likely be composed of faculty, current students, residents, or even members of the community without a background in your field. So an invitation for a video interview should still be treated as an in-person interview. And having the help of a medical school consultant can help a candidate stay on track for their video interview preparation. Different medical schools have varying interview formats, and they often adapt it year to year according to their logistical needs. It's very important to find out in advance what style of interview that you can expect, so you can prepare accordingly. Despite the interview being conducted virtually, you can still expect a traditional, panel, or MMI interview format, or even a hybrid of all three styles. If you're unfamiliar with online interview etiquette, or how to be professional online, or have anxiety about not being face-to-face with an interviewer, then a medical school consultant will be the best tool to prepare for a video interview. Not only will these advisors give you the appropriate strategies for whichever virtual interview format that you'll face, but they'll give you an analysis of how to engage with a webcam effectively, tips on how to avoid technical difficulties, and how to avoid easily overlooked distractions. They'll also tell you how to dress for your video interview. And of course, they'll give you a crash course in maintaining interview etiquette in a virtual environment. You can absolutely have a panel interview either as a video or in-person interview. It's one of the most common interview formats to be invited to. And students typically face 1 to 4 panelists per candidate, with questions focusing on a casual review of your CV to behavioral questions. And in this case, a med school consultant will be able to help you tailor your interview prep strategies for both in-person and virtual environments. But if you decide to take on this interview prep on your own, you may pick a starting point for your prep that may be in the complete opposite direction of where you should be headed. You might start your prep by cracking open a textbook or looking through your class notes, but a medical school advisor will nudge you to know yourself instead, like firmly knowing the qualities that would stand out to an AdComs and reflecting on why you truly want to become a doctor. Knowing yourself also means thoroughly having a grasp on your med school application, with a heavy emphasis on your medical school personal statement and extracurriculars, especially if evaluators have access to your application during the interview. For instance, if you've contributed to a research paper, no matter how small your contribution, there's a good chance that you may be asked questions surrounding the research. And by having that direction to revisit your application regularly to familiarize yourself with its contents, then you'll have more confidence to speak to your qualities and experiences than by simply dumping everything into the AMCAS work and activities section and forgetting about it. Medical school consultants also give students the tools to avoid memorizing their answers. And that's a big no-no for medical school interviews because students will only run into problems if they rely on memory alone. It can lead to having an insincere answer that an evaluator will pick up on right away, or a student won't be able to give a full response to a question that they've prepared an answer for, but has been asked in a different way. And of course, recalling a memorized answer under pressure can lead to a dreaded mind blank. So all in all, memorizing your answers usually ends up hurting any chance of acceptance. Instead, a good medical school advisor will know how to teach students how to pinpoint important experiences and qualities that a student can create a dynamic response around. Even if your responses slightly change each time you deliver it, that still means that you have a firm grasp on what you need to tell in AdComs that aligns with what they're looking for in potential students. Medical schools have another tool for video interviews, and it's the Snapshot by Altus suite. The Snapshot by Altus is a short video response tool claimed to be designed to give you an additional opportunity to demonstrate your suitability for the profession. The snapshot is claimed to help you demonstrate your personal attributes and communication skills, but the jury is out for its real effectiveness. Your snapshot responses will be available to all programs that you add to your Casper test distribution list, and each program will make its own decision on how to use your recorded interview in its admissions process. While some may decide that they may want to review your answers as part of the admissions process, others may use the snapshot instead of in-person interviews. Although new and intimidating at first glance, Snapshot by Altus is not much different from your typical in-person interview formats. To gain confidence for this interview, I highly suggest that you get expert feedback as you practice answering mock snapshot questions. You won't see much improvement without personalized feedback. And remember, quality always trumps quantity, and practicing with lists of questions won't help if the content of your answers don't improve. One area a medical school advisor can help you with is identifying your strengths and weaknesses by using your application components to navigate the snapshot prompts. If you would like to get help with your snapshot preparation or any other medical school interview format, make sure to reach out to us. We're always here to help. That's our advice on how to best prepare for medical school interviews with mock interviews and expert advice. Check out our blogs to read more interview strategies and how to best utilize medical school advisors. I've included a few links in the description of this video for easy access. And if you would like us to help you with your medical school interview, check out BeMoMedInterview.com to schedule your free initial consultation. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, so please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And if you have any questions about practicing with mock interviews and how to get expert advice, let me know in the comment section and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And don't forget that we're giving away $50 Amazon gift cards every week to the best comments and questions, so comment below for your chance to win. Thanks for watching and see you next time.